present For the Record with Neil Heinen.
A conversation with Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes-Conway is next on For the Record. Thanks for joining us. I'm Neil Heinen. As we reach the end of the year, Satya Rhodes-Conway concludes her first year as mayor of Madison. With her first budget freshly passed, it's a good time to assess the state of our city, get the mayor's thoughts on her first year in office, and look ahead to 2020. As I welcome back to For the Record, Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes-Conway. Mayor, welcome back.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
I'm happy to be here.
Budgeting, I mean, this is not new for you. You did it as an alder. You certainly know budgeting from your work on cities, but probably a little more vested interest in this one. How would you assess the process? How do you feel about it?
I feel relatively good about it. We did try a few new things this year, and I think they went pretty well. We're trying to align our budget with the values and top priorities that came out of the comprehensive planning process, Imagine Madison. Yeah. And so we're trying to set the process up so that that can happen. And I think that went well. We'll do more next year. And I have to say, having gone through one now, I have all sorts of ideas about how the process can be better next year.
Were you happy with sort of the public's participation in it? Did you get input from the public?
You know, we did. And in part, that's why we want to tie the budget closer to Imagine Madison, because we had really robust public input in the Imagine Madison process. And so if we can be forwarding those values and goals in the budget, then we can be more confident that we're representing what the public wants.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say that the overall perception of the budget from the media coverage in particular was the vehicle registration fee, the $40 and transportation, the transportation element of it, and then the whole public safety and police. Yep. Now, from your perspective, Mayor, what are you most pleased about that got through the budget?
Well, you know, I think the thing that is the most important for me is that the budget really reflects what I ran on and the values that I brought into office. Yeah. So, yes, we are making a significant investment in our transit system in this budget, and that was one of my top priorities in the campaign. We also increased funding for affordable housing by $1 million. And that's another top priority for me. And then there's another million in there for land banking, which can help us with affordable housing. The other thing that's in there that we haven't really talked about at all is there's a number of initiatives that will support young people in our city. So we're adding a teen service worker at the Warner Park Center. We added a teen librarian at the Goodman South Library. And we're adding a early childhood mental health specialist on our staff, which is a real need in the industry. We're providing bus passes for young people in the summertime so they can get to internships or work or whatever it might be. Anyway, there's a whole slew of things in the budget that are really focused on supporting young people in our city, and that I'm really excited about those efforts.
And I think you would make this argument about transit and law enforcement, but all of this has the equity and inclusion components to it that you wanted to see in the whole budget.
Yeah, exactly. And we are focused continually on equity and inclusion, but also on sustainability. And we were trying to look at the budget through those lenses. What are the ways that we can make city government more sustainable and help the community be more sustainable? How can we make city government more equitable and help the community be more equitable as well?
Help us just make more concrete the future of transportation in this community. Yeah. So we start with your budget, which adds some funding there. You got a $7 million grant from DOT. Where are we in terms of actually seeing a 21st century transit system in this community?
Well, we're closer than we've been in a long time.
Right.
And actually the grant that we got from the US DOT is absolutely critical in unlocking things for Metro Transit, because it will allow us to buy more buses. Our bus barn right now is just literally, we can't buy any more buses because we don't have anywhere to store them. So having a satellite facility is a critical first step. So we will be working on on that, right away. We're already working on it. And the other thing that we'll see is that over the course of the next year, we are both moving forward with bus rapid transit. And the first line will run east-west, so certainly East Town to Westgate, but I'm hopeful that we could get out maybe to the American Center or maybe even to Sun Prairie, and I've talked with folks in Middleton, and the mayor would like it to go to Middleton, so we're trying to push the edges there and be more regional.
No clear route yet though, right? In terms of streets?
There's a good stretch of it is defined. There's still some questions at either end and frankly in the middle around the square. Those are where we still have a few questions, but the bulk of it we know. It's essentially East Washington and University Ave. Right. So that's the bulk of it. So that's moving forward, and we'll be preparing to ask the federal government for a significant amount of capital funding for that project in the next year. The other thing that's going forward at the same time is looking at our entire bus system. Right. And how that will relate to the bus rapid transit and how we can better serve folks that aren't on that first east-west line. So things are going to be changing, probably not early next year, but as we get through that study, maybe towards the end of the year and certainly the year after that, I think we'll see improvements in service.
Which is not necessarily more bus rapid transit, right? I mean, there could be other modes of transit that we have to look at. I'm just going to throw streetcars out there as an example because it's something I think people can identify with, but there's new technology coming up around the world every day.
I suspect that what we'll see first is better use of the existing buses that we have. To really be as efficient and effective as possible with those. And then I suspect that the next phase will be bus rapid transit, and we have two lines mapped out. So one is the east-west and the other is north-south. And that'll be airport down to East Washington, and then likely go south down Park Street. That's a little bit fuzzier exactly what route we're going to use. And then after that, yes, I think that there's all sorts of things we need to look at. I'm having people talk to me about why do we not serve Wanakee? Why are we not getting farther out into the region? And so can we do that with our existing buses? Maybe. Do we need different vehicles? Maybe. I mean, those are questions that we have to ask ourselves, but also our partners in the region about what kind of transit they want to see.
Right. I want to talk about law enforcement and the new police chief, and we're going to do that with Mayor Satya Rhodes-Conway right after this.
For the Record, sponsored by MG&E, your community energy company.
We get it. You had more important things to do. So the Black Friday sale at Denver Mattress has been extended. Get $100 off every $1,000 you spend, no limit. Plus, 7 years, no interest financing. The extended Black Friday sale at Denver Mattress. Hurry, sale ends soon.
This season, take an incredible journey through 5,000 years of culture with Shen Yun. Discover why people are calling Shen Yun a visual feast, a pleasure to the ear, an epic tale, a must-see. Shen Yun, returning to Overture Center for the Arts, February 4th and 5th. Tickets at shenyun.com/WI.
Health Markets compares your current plan with thousands of options nationwide from national insurance companies. Don't miss the deadline. There are only days remaining in open enrollment. With so many changes to health insurance plans, are you still sure you have the right fit?
That's why I love Health Markets, your insurance marketplace. They guarantee you won't find a lower price anywhere for the plans they offer.
Their new Fit Score instantly compares thousands of plans, both on the government exchange and off, to find the one that best fits your insurance need. In minutes, you can find out if your current plan is the right fit, or if there's another one that can get you extra coverage or help save you money. You may even qualify for free health insurance with no monthly premiums. The Health Markets Fit Score makes it easy to find the right plan for you. For this free service, go to healthmarkets.com or call right now.
Your insurance marketplace, Health Markets.
Call Health Markets before enrollment deadline. Call 800-473-1293. 800-473-1293.
We get it. You had more important things to do. So the Black Friday sale at Denver Mattress has been extended. Get $100 off every $1,000 you spend, no limit. Plus, 7 years, no interest financing. The extended Black Friday sale at Denver Mattress. Hurry, sale ends soon.
I am back with Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes-Conway. And this is a budget question, Mayor, but also kind of looking ahead to 2020 when we're going to select a new police chief. And I just want to get your candid perspective on law enforcement, the relationship between law enforcement and the community. What you would like to see, Mayor, both in terms of a new police chief, but also in the relationship and how we look at law enforcement in this community, and to the degree that you can influence that.
Well, that's a big question, right? Yeah. And it's a really important one for our community. I think there's a couple of things that it's important to just, get clarity on right away. And one is that compared to our peers, Madison is an incredibly safe city. And in fact, when we look at the crime trends over decades, we are safer now than we have ever been in the past. And I think that in this age of social media, people forget that. So first of all, that's great, right? It doesn't mean that we don't have any problems, right. But I think it does mean that the police department is doing a good job, for the most part, in keeping our city safe. Now, the place where we need to work is, as you say, the relationship between the community and the department. And I actually think that that is a key role for the next chief, right? I think that our next chief is going to have to be focused on building trust, building relationships, and really continuing the tradition that we have of community-focused policing. There's more in there, because public safety is not just the job of the police department. I mean, in some ways, it's all of our jobs, but it also means public health. It means traffic safety. It means investing in neighborhoods and our community, and some of the things that we did in the budget, investing in young people, I consider to be public safety investments, because they will allow young people to have opportunities rather than getting into trouble.
Right.
So I think it's important that the next chief think about public safety that way, and really be, certainly they have to run a department, that's critical, right. But I think they need to be outward facing and really engage with the community.
So, I mean, just in your view of healthy cities, Mayor, the role of a police chief, as you say, running their department well and being a strong leader, but also do you believe there needs to be opportunities for the two of you to speak with one voice so that the community...
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's important. And, the system in Wisconsin is such that it's the Police and Fire Commission that hires and has direct supervision over the chief. So unlike other department heads in the city, there's not a direct report to me necessarily. Now, I will say that Interim Chief Wall and I have a great relationship. We've been meeting regularly. We talk through all sorts of things. And that's the kind of relationship that I would like to have with the next chief, so that we really are on the same page and are working on the same things, pushing in the same direction.
Yeah. Social media, that's the world we live in now. And so the fact that the crime numbers may not reflect people's anxiety when they are hearing constantly about shots fired and crimes in their neighborhood. When you're out talking with community groups, as you do so much of, how do you approach that conversation? How do you balance acknowledging that, yes, if you see that happening, it's frightening. On the other hand, we are basically a fundamentally safe city.
Well, I try and give people good information, right? Because I think that's really lacking. And so I try and share, some of the statistics and some of the trends. I get a monthly report from the police department on crime trends. And so I would like to think that I'm fairly well informed about the big picture here. Right. Whereas what you see on social media is, maybe one or two events amplified again and again and again. And all this is not to say that there aren't issues and there aren't problems that we have to deal with, right? There's no violent crime is acceptable. Right, and so that needs to be zero, even though it's going down. We're not at zero yet, so there's still work to do. But I try and share good information with folks, and as you say, you have to acknowledge that it is scary, and that's okay. But we do need to, from a public policy point of view, not be motivated by fear, but rather be motivated by good information about what's really happening in our community.
We could spend the whole rest of the show talking about this issue, but you know, I do think it's important because it does sometimes seem like this is a relatively small group of people. The police know who these people are, and yet we have this real barrier towards really effectively changing the behavior, ending the behavior. What do we need? What combination of things do we need?
You know, I think if you really want to get to the root of it, I think there's two things, right? And so one is that we need to be thinking now about how are we thinking about prevention, right? And that, frankly, is not policing. Right? That's investment in community. That's keeping kids in school. It's investing in families. It's making sure that we're building wealth in neighborhoods so people can live a more comfortable life. It's, you know, getting kids the training they need to get good jobs and be on a career path rather than just a dead-end job. So there's this whole set of investments that we need to be making in our community that we are, but I think we could be doing it in maybe better, more organized, more strategic way. Right, and so that's part of what we're trying to do in the budget. And then the other piece is really focusing on, because we do know in almost all segments of sort of the problem areas in public safety, we know who the actors are. And so thinking not just what are the consequences, of course there have to be consequences, but not just what are the consequences, but how do we redirect these people, right? How do we get them, again, is it training? Is it mental health services? Is it literally just physical health services? I mean, how do we redirect people into a more productive path in their lives? And some of that's policing, but again, some of that's other types of investments.
When we come back, we'll talk about climate resilience and what you're looking for in 2020 with Mayor Rhodes-Conway right after this. Is your
Shop Steinhoffel's Home for the Holidays sale, where you'll save 35% store-wide plus an extra $100 off. This is the time to get great deals on the largest selection of quality furniture, like this Lazy Boy rocker recliner, only $249. Deep seating sofa, now $799. Steinhoffel's private labeled upholstered bed, now $899. Or our 5-piece dining set, $1049. Plus, all holiday accessories are now 50% off. Shop Steinhoffel's Home for the Holidays sale now.
Attention. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services has officially authorized new benefits that Medicare Advantage plans may include. To get the benefits you deserve, you can call the Medicare Coverage Helpline.
Hi, I'm Joe Namath. If you're on Medicare, this is important information. I called the Medicare Coverage Helpline and they instantly looked up my coverage. In this one simple call, they offered to enroll me in a plan that includes rides to medical appointments, private home aides, doctors and nurses' visits by telephone, and even home-delivered meals. The plan also includes dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage, all at no additional cost.
Don't delay. Call to see if the new benefits are available in your area.
Call the number on your screen now. It's free.
Call 1-800-860-4040. That's 1-800-860-4040 now.
Congratulations to Mark Saltzman, a top-notch band teacher at Madison's East High School.
I am a teacher who, and music is the vehicle. It's about connecting. It's about that connection and meaningfulness.
If you know a teacher who deserves to be recognized as a top-notch teacher, send us a letter, an email, or nominate a teacher at channel3000.com.
Sponsored by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. News 3 Now and Channel 3000 put top stories and breaking news at your fingertips. Video alerts and forecasts. Download the Channel 3000 app today.
I am back with my guest, Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes-Conway. As we wrap up 2019, look ahead to 2020, the end of the year, Mayor, actually wrote an editorial about this. It was the first time I think I heard the phrase climate resilience. We climate change. But then also the idea of a climate-ready city.
Yes.
Talk about that concept.
Well, so we know climate change is happening. And we know that it can have devastating impacts, witness the flooding that Madison's experienced, but I'm not sure that we know the full range of potential impacts. And so we are partnering with UW to learn about the science and understand how the climate is changing, so that we can think about what that means for our own internal operations, the infrastructure work that we do, and it's just the day-to-day of running a city. So we've embarked on this partnership. I'm incredibly grateful to the Nelson Institute at UW, to the Wisconsin Initiative on Climate Change Impacts, and to UW Extension. They are generously donating time and energy to help us move through this process.
This past week, there were a couple of major new developments that were approved. And I think now, as we look at planning and development, that the relationship to climate-ready city needs to be an element of that.
Absolutely.
But finally, Judge Doyle Square looks like it has been approved.
I said, please knock on some wood when you say that.
Well, you know, it does seem like it's been a tortured process,
it has been,
Mayor.
yeah.
I mean, and
going back even to when I was on the council.
Right. Now, is that singular to Judge Doyle Square, or is this something that the city and your new planning director need to look at?
I think that, well, I would say yes and no. Right? Judge Doyle Square is definitely a special thing, and I have not seen any other project go through as many iterations and have as many problems as this one. But I do think, both with respect to climate resilience and with respect to affordable housing, we have to examine the land use development process to see how we can get more of what we want out of it. And that is something that I campaigned on, and that we are in conversation now about how we can really do that analysis and move that forward.
Do you have a number for new units in 2020? This is a multi-year plan, right?
It is. I mean, frankly, the number of new units that we need to produce as a city is so large that I'm not even saying it out loud. But what I'm focused on is, how do we use new tools? How do we do better and get more development and more units online, both market rate housing to ease the market up, but also specifically affordable housing to help the folks that need that to be able to live in our community.
Are you happy with what we ended up with Judge Doyle Square? I mean, is it going to look good?
Yeah.
Is it going to?
It's going to be lovely. It's going to be a great development. I think we ended up in the right place, and so now I feel like, okay, Block 88, we're in good shape there. Hopefully all goes well with the development process. Now we turn our attention to Block 105 and to tear down the existing parking ramp and try and get that development process moving forward.
All right, so what are you looking forward to in 2020, Mayor?
All sorts of things. I'm, continuing the work around transit. There's going to be some big efforts there that we talked about, and I now want to turn my attention to affordable housing and to really think about, again, what are all the tools that we can use as a city, but not just that. How do we engage the private sector more? How do we engage the community more in understanding how important affordable housing is for our community and what that means in terms of the changes that we're going to see in neighborhoods, and how now that we know the city limits, we really do have to be looking at infill development. And whether that's a backyard cottage or an addition to a house where a family member can live, or in some places, 15-story buildings. There's a whole range there of what infill development looks like. So there's a conversation with the community that needs to happen, but there's also a conversation with employers and other private sector actors about their role in the affordable housing situation and what their needs are. And then there's an internal conversation about how do we do more with what we have. And that's not just money, but it is, as you say, the development process, and how do we encourage more development of housing in the city of Madison.
How big a role could the Oscar Mayer redevelopment play in this?
Oh my God, it could be huge. There's such huge potential at that site, and it's actually really exciting to see the conversation around that and the ideas that are coming out and some of the very early plans. As you know, we're going through a planning process right now. There's some very early drawings about just conceptual, what it might look like, and I find it very exciting. I think if we do it right, we could have the kind of transformation that we're seeing on East Washington, we could see at the Oscar Mayer site. But my hope is that we can do it in a way that is even more sensitive to the community and provides enough affordability that we're not driving displacement from the north side.
And I guess finally, just, you know, how are you thinking right now about the divisions that we are so familiar with in our society, in our world, that play out here in Madison, the civic dialogue that's going on? Are you comfortable with the role that your office has with the community and how we talk to each other?
I am, but I think we can always do more. You know, one of the things, I guess there's a couple of things. One is that there's this sort of prevailing national conversation and discord that trickles through to Madison. I think Madison's better than that. Right? And I think that we do a much better job than what's going on the national stage. And we need to recognize that and not let that discord at the national level have a negative impact on us. But I do think that that is an active process, and that's us being positive. I'm going out to have coffees with folks all around the city, and for the most part, it's a great conversation.
Listening.
Yes, exactly.
We put it on our editorial agenda. Mayor, thanks very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
We're going to come back and wrap up For the Record right after this.
MG&E, building a community energy company for the future through the power of working together, committed to cleaner, more sustainable energy, driven by innovation, fostered by shared values. Energy2030together.com.
Get new floors with Empire Today's $99 sale. Buy one room, get carpet, hardwood, or laminate in all other rooms for only $99. So buy one room and get carpet, plus laminate, and even hardwood in as many other rooms as you want. All for $99. That's new floors for the whole house. Buy one room, get floors in all other rooms for only $99. Don't miss Empire's $99 sale.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today. Built for your next adventure, the new 2020 Subaru Impreza 2.0i now at Don Miller. With the Subaru Share the Love event, Subaru will donate $250 for every new Subaru vehicle sold or leased now through January 2nd, 2020. Lease the Impreza 2.0i, $199 per month plus tax, 36 months, 10,000 miles per year, no security deposit, $19.99 due at signing. The Impreza 2.0i with symmetrical all-wheel drive, standard. Don Miller Subaru, West on Odana or East Side, High Crossing Boulevard, Madison.
Don Miller. For 2 decades, News 3 Now and Channel 3000
have paid tribute to top-notch teachers nominated by our viewers. Every month, we spotlight and salute an area teacher, and we want to hear about your favorite. If you know a teacher who deserves to be recognized as a top-notch teacher, send us a letter, an email, or nominate a teacher at channel3000.com.
Top-notch teachers, sponsored by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
MG&E, building a community energy company for the future through the power of working together, committed to cleaner, more sustainable energy, driven by innovation, fostered by shared values. Energy2030together.com.
My thanks to Mayor Satya Rhodes-Conway and to you for joining us. We'll see you next week on For the Record.